And here we go. We have another Vader for the collection. Hope you guys are excited about this one. I've had it for a couple days. I've been messing around with Lady Pool and some other stuff, and it's time to open up the new MMS 700. Thanks to Pop Collectibles for getting this to me super fast. If you want one of these, check them out for this one or any other figures you might want. Link in the description below. Deluxe version. So this is going to be all the stuff, all the kit and caboodle. We got the slip cover for the Vader. Nothing really to write home about here. And thank you, FedEx, for denting my whatever. You know, it's never going back in the box again, but still, FedEx. Been a little nicer, man. All right, so we do have the 40th anniversary style packaging, the Kenner style packaging, which I know some people like, which is fine. I just honestly couldn't give a crap less because, again, it'll never be seen again. This is that's kind of weird. Like, what? Is that going to come across on camera? Here. What's up with this? Like this Harley Davidson style flames on a Vader look. That's weird. Anyways. It's my first time looking at this, as you can see. Flap to open up things and whatever. All right. Who cares? Let's open this thing up. I need a knife. Got a knife. Let's cut some tape here. Let's be about it. See what we got going on. Now, I do have the Empire Deluxe Vader. And I have the Kenobi Vader, obviously, and then we've got the Force, we'll call it the Force Unleashed Battle Damage Vader coming, and then there's there's this guy. And then I have the quarter scale Vader, so I got that too. So quarter scale Vader, which obviously is going to be same film. But we'll see, is this head sculpt any good? Let's kind of get there. We got a bunch of hands, and we got giant helmet with electrocution force effects. A Vader with some pleathery type stuff, I'm sure. And this is what I wanted to see first. All right. So for whatever reason, I don't know why I was thinking that. I was thinking like we had a full sculpt, but we clearly do not. I'm not mad at it. It's just for whatever reason, I had that in my head that we were getting a full sculpt. This thing is, and I don't know where I got that from. Maybe it's because of the course. No, the course. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, look at that, man. That's pretty sick. It is gruesome. Look at that scar going on the back. Oh, man. Yes. Is this the definitive Vader? I don't know. Let's find out together. So we have electrocuted head. We got a body. We got USB crappy lightsabers, whatever. What else we got down here? Diorama base, I guess, would be a thing. Let's see here. Come on, work with me, plastic. There we go. All right, get you out of here. Okay, so we got, whoa, they gave us both bases. All right, so Hot Toys has blessed us with the regular base and a diorama base for the first time ever that I can think of, and maybe it'll continue, but probably not. But let's take a look at the regular one first. And we'll kind of go from there. Now, you have the ability to add this guy on there if you like. You can switch him back and forth, which is fine. Vader's pretty sturdy. I don't know if you need it or not. Now, you can have the option to add these guys on to display the alternate helmet and sculpt. I'm not a fan of that feature. I don't think I'm going to be using that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the extra pieces. I'm not sure exactly which head helmet combination I'm going to use. To be determined. I don't know. But this is not something you have to use. You just pop these guys off, and you can choose to use them, or you can choose to not use them. I'm kind of on the fence what I'm going to do with it. But it is USB-C, and there's a light up function right there. We'll check it out a little bit later on. But this is I like this base. I kind of dig it. I think it's pretty good looking. Just says Vader on there. It's got red all the way around. I dig that one. And then we've got the diorama base, which is considerably larger and actually pretty neat. Now, once again, this is not true 1/6 scale. I mean, let's just throw that out there. It's not. Putting Vader's feet on here, I mean, it ain't gonna work. Scaling's not great. It is pretty nice. It's plastic. There's no real paint applications going on here for the most part. And this nice graded material, kind of dig that. I mean, it looks nice. And this looks like the normal Death Star style bases we're used to seeing, although it's a chunk wider. And this is pretty cool. So you can put the railing on whichever side you want. So depending on, however you want to display it. Now, this will be interesting. For those who might be inclined to do this, for those that are getting multiple Vaders, is there anybody out there like, were you going to put them side by side and you'll have like a double wide situation going on there? I don't know. I could see people like parting out the diorama base and just selling the base and then like making a whole row of these guys. I think that actually would look pretty cool. I mean, whether you use this on one side or not, but an actual row of these like as a platform, that would be kind of cool. It might be an expensive way to display these things or troopers or whatever else you want to display. But I could totally see somebody, trying to do that. There's no light up functions on this one. All right, if you've seen Vader hands before, these are extremely similar, except you got to look pointing right hand, gesturing right hand, another force wielding hand, like lifting things, not really choking. This is not really choke mode. But it does appear that the hands are going to be slightly easier to take on and off. So I'm super excited to actually see if that's a reality, but they do look slightly different on the molds. We do have the belt grasping hands, as awkward as that is, but that's what those are for. A pair of lightsaber holding hands, 2 left force gesturing hands. So we've got that, and they are different. Here's the other right force gesturing hand. They are different. These are different molds. These are not the same molds, but you do have 2 left ones, slightly different. 1 fist, which I think's kind of strange that he doesn't have 2 fists, but he's evidently when he does a fist, he does it with his left hand because that's the one we got. I was wrong. Here's the other fist hand, except it's missing a hand, and here is the detail or lack thereof on the severed hand. And there's Belle in the background if you can hear her barking trying to get in. But there it is. It's okay. There's nothing great there. It's pretty basic. But it'll probably get the job done. As far as the lightsaber hilts go, obviously you're going to get 2 of them. You get one that's unpowered, one that is powered via the light box and USB and all that kind of mess. Guaranteed to be let down. Probably won't use this, so there's that. But it does come with that. This one right here, I dig this one. It's got a D-ring on it. You can hang it on the belt if you so choose. Actually, it's got one on either one, so you can hang it on the top or bottom, whichever way you want to do it. And then, of course, you've got this guy is made a return. So USB-C, they do not give you the cables. You got to supply that and a power brick. And then you can attach it on the actual figure's belt. Now, there used to be, at least on previous figures, at least I'm thinking of Grand Inquisitor, there was an attachment to attach it to the stand, but that doesn't appear to be the case this time. It's just this little guy right here to attach it to the back of Vader's belt, which is fine. I don't know that's that big a deal. And then we got 2 lightsaber effects. Now, these are vastly different than the previous lightsaber effects. In fact, let me go get them. There we go. Here's our swooshing effect that we got previously. You can see the saturation on this is way better, darker, more saturated in red versus this kind of pinkish stuff. Didn't go all that great. The regular blade looks the same. As far as the coloration goes, it's more this guy right here. But I think that's a very big step forward. Even if it's something simple, it should have been like this the whole time. And of course, since we get moving eyes, you got this little tool that we've all got way too many of. In addition to all the other hands you saw earlier, we do have these 2 that come on the figure itself. It's just relaxed hands, nothing crazy going on there. So there's that. But here is our new Vader. It is looking quite fantastic. And I will say, I'm not the guy that goes and is super picky about, it's got this tusk is supposed to be this shade of color, this tusk is supposed to be this color, this eye is supposed to be this shape, and this. I'm not that guy when it comes to Vaders. It looks like Vader, and I'm pretty good with that. I mean, if it looked like some third-party knockoff thing, I might be a little bit more critiquing. But for me, I don't know. I'm just not, I don't care. But I will tell you, of the Vaders we have, this one, I have this one, Empire and Kenobi, and the quarter scale Vader. This one appears to be most accurate, I think. I never got the Rogue One, but we do have different shades of gray paint, black and gray paint from the upper cheek down to lower here. That is a different shade. You can kind of maybe see it right there. You can definitely see it there. So I dig that. The helmet is once again attached via this stupid friction setup that is a complete and utter nightmare to deal with. My Empire Vader, like if you just look at that thing the wrong way, that flipping thing falls off. If I sneeze across the room, that thing's falling off. It's crazy. But there is some nice detail here. I think it is lovely. They did a fine job with it. And yes, it's empty. There's nothing going on in Vader's head because he is a pawn of the Emperor and he can't do his own thinking. But there's some nice detail back here behind the back. And then you've got all these cables back here for the USB box, the converter. So we got that going on. So we got the belt boxes, the chest box, and then there's one, that's for the chest box. There's one more for this guy, which we'll get to in just a second. Before we get there, I have not added the cape on there just yet for a specific reason, because I thought it'd be easier adding cables and all that kind of than dealing with that. But it just goes over the head. It's the same cape we've seen many, many times, and it's got nice weight to it. And I've really never had a complaint about Vader capes, although I do have a custom wired cape. If you check out my Kenobi Vader video, you'll be able to see that. So very clean chest box here. Nothing, no battle damage like we saw in the Kenobi version with the switch out boxes. The boxes and the colors and the lights appear to be accurate. I love this look for it. I always like the tabards going underneath. On A New Hope, they went over, and I didn't really like that. I don't know. After that, I like this look better. I think it's a little bit more scary, I guess, if you will. But I don't know. It's more sleek. And without the cape, like, he looks pretty sleek right here, except for these random cables, which for a Vader could be 100% screen accurate. But it looked pretty good. Same pleatherish material. I thought we might get an upgrade since we do have another Vader coming with an upgraded suit. But this is that normal pleathery style stuff that's going to flake over time if you're in bad climate. And that's unfortunate. But it is essentially this exact same thing. All these guys are attached via Velcro, which I'm not a big fan of, but it is what it is. And then, of course, we got a single boot, which is guaranteed to have problems down the years. And on the bottom, super clean, nothing going on there. Range of motion wise, it's a Vader, guys. We do have a little bit of a hinge right here on this armor. So it actually does pretty good right there. Double bend. Actually, come on. I don't want to go too far with it, but there is a double bend there. It's just kind of the suit material is kind of getting in the way. Double bend here on the knees. But let's be honest, Vader's not doing any flips unless he's in the comics. That's pretty much it. And for range of motion, that's pretty much, what else do you need? It's going to go forward pretty good amount of ways. I think I can rotate it a little bit more than that and twist it. But again, what are you going to do with your Vader? Probably what I'm going to do with mine when we get to the posing section. It's going to look badass without being Ahsoka-like flippy flip stuff. And that's probably what's going to happen. But that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and switch this out for the other helmet options. Checking it out for the unmasked, unhelmeted sculpt. This thing looks sick. Absolutely sick. I mean, it looks like, just at like first glance here, they took the quarter scale, they downscaled it, and then added movable eyes, which I think is pretty freaking sick. I probably won't be using a movable. Well, I might. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it looks pretty stinking good. It's got this nice gash going on down the head. We looked at earlier. Paint application is pale and pink and desaturated. And it just looks fierce. There's the little breathing box going on there. And then around the back, we've got the same detail going around there. I think this looks pretty freaking cool. For those curious, here's the quarter scale Vader, and here's the 6 scale Return of the Jedi Vader helmet. So, our head. And you can see this one's got it's more white. This one's got a little bit more of that prune color in it. And this is what it looks like side by side. Obviously, the quarter scale's got more detail in it, the texture and everything. However, the 6 scale one is no slouch. It looks just fine. It's got these weird cutouts for the helmet to actually sit into and magnets on there. And of course, one difference is this one has movable eyes. This one does not. But is that a big deal? Probably not. This is, that's what they look like. As far as the gashes go, this one's a little bit more saturated. Actually, all around, this one's more the 6 scale is more saturated. And believe it or not, there's actually more detail. You guys see this? There's more detail in the 6 scale battle damage than there is the quarter scale. Like a lot more detail. It's very, you can see it there on camera, right? I'm not hallucinating that. It's a lot more detail on that. On the side here, there's more detail here, or there's more depth. Last but not least, we have this light up function, which I think is pretty cool. It's nice. I don't think I'm going to display mine, but it is a nice feature. Now, I will tell you, I saw somebody in the YouTube, TK421, I didn't want to mess up the name, who had an unfortunate accident with his. Please do not do that. When you have the head actually on the figure, like this, and you've got the wires hooked up to the back plate or the converter, disconnect the converter first and then remove the head. He got a little ambitious and removed this while this was still plugged into the box and ripped this cord out of the head. And that's, nobody wants to do that. I feel bad for them, man. That sucks. But you know, there's a warning out there. So that's the benefit of us YouTubers to you guys is we break stuff so you don't have to. So that's how it works. I've broken my fair share of things. So this lightning effect, force lightning effect comes off, which is fine. And then you've got this guy, which I think looks really, really cool by itself. You've got head. There's not a whole lot of texture going on inside the head because it's supposed to be, you know, light and see-through and all that kind of stuff. But there is an actual skull, I guess, if you will, in there. And I dig this. I think it's pretty cool. Will I display it on my shelf? Probably not. So we got our Vader posed up and it looking all kinds of awesome. I got the USB-C box plugged in. Chest boxes are on. The belt boxes are also on, but you can't see it because his hands are in the way. And we've just got the standard cape or cloak that it comes with. It's not really a cape that Vader comes with. And it looks great. I would say this, for all intents and purposes, looks like Vader. We looked at the helmet earlier, kind of compared it to some different ones. Obviously, the head sculpt, we'll get a closer look at that in a little bit. Proportions-wise, it's tall. It's like got the shoulders going on. The cape falls nicely. Overall, this is how probably a lot of you have your Vader posed in your collection. And certainly if you've got multiple Vaders, surely you've got one of them at least posed this way. But I think it's a pretty good way to display a Vader with not being too crazy, especially if you don't have a custom cloak cape that I have for one of my other ones, which I have currently on the Kenobi Vader. Currently have on that one. And we'll break him out in a little bit and do a little comparison. But for first glances at this guy, I like it. I like that I can have the USB function on it and have him plugged in and lit up. I do like that, even though the tactics you have to go through to get to make that happen, not really a big fan of that. But for right now, looks pretty good. Now, I've gone ahead and put on the Empire Vader to the left and the Kenobi Vader to the right. And we know we're getting another Vader because we're getting the Force Unleashed, I guess, if you will, Vader. That one's going to be coming at some point. And then we got an Artisan Anakin thing going. We got a lot of Vaders going on. I imagine we'll see some more. I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen a chrome variant Vader yet. So who knows? Who knows? But these guys all look pretty good. The Empire Vader and the Return of the Jedi Vader, height-wise, are the same. It may look a little weird just due to the camera distortion, but they are the same. And the Kenobi Vader. Honestly, having the custom cloak on my Kenobi Vader is kind of making the win for me on that one. But I can 100% see why somebody would choose the Return of the Jedi Vader. If you only had one Vader in the collection, like that's the question, right? So you don't have multiple of these. If you only had one and you wanted the iconic, just badassery, Vader to go in the collection, I would certainly choose the Return of the Jedi Vader for the reasons that the proportions look correct. You get a unmasked sculpt, you get electrified, force thing going on with the helmet, which is kind of cool. You get a bunch of hands, and honestly, the hands are so much easier to change on this Vader. I cannot tell you how much of a pain in the butt the other ones are. The new one, definitely superior in just about all ways. Now, if you want to get into like the minutia of the tusk is supposed to be a certain color and the eye is supposed to be, if you're that guy, I think the new Return of Jedi Vader is probably the one for you as well. So I guess what I'm saying is, if you want a film accurate one that looks badass, go with the Return of Jedi Vader. If you want a badass one that's going to look amazing, probably the Force Unleashed style one they got coming out next year. That one's going to be pretty sick. But we'll, when it shows up, we'll compare that one too. Let's do some more poses. So we've got the unmasked Vader here. This thing looks freaking fantastic. I will most likely be displaying mine this way. That way I've got a helmeted Vader with the Empire. I've got the unhelmeted Return of Jedi look. And then we've got the slashed helmeted Kenobi version and with Hayden in there. And this is, it just looks sick. The detail on this thing's great. I believe I said earlier, I'd like the comparison of the quarter scale version to this one. There's some pros and cons to either one. Obviously, this one's going to take up a lot less room. But sculpt-wise, paint application-wise, like I don't know what more you could want. You can move the eyes if you want to. What else? I don't know what else you would want. It's just good. So I hope you guys that have this one coming, some of you may already have this because I know I've been a little slow in getting this video out. Yeah, I think you're going to like it. So I like it. Bring it. Do we need more Vaders? Yeah, probably. Probably do. Give me another Vader. Now, the odds of me using this light up feature are about 0%, but I can appreciate that it does exist, and I can appreciate that it actually looks pretty good. I mean, I don't have the little lightning effects on there because I wanted to be able to see, you know, want you guys to be able to see this, but I do have everything plugged in, chest box, light boxes on the belts, everything. And it does look pretty good, honestly. I certainly don't expect the USB lightsaber to look as good because I know it won't. But this particular feature, I think it's neat. I think it's something that you would break out. Like if you were showing somebody your collection, you want to show them something cool. It's a nice little gimmick. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's not something most of us are going to use in the collection. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. If you go, hey, no, screw that, dude. I'm 100% doing this. Or I bought multiples so I could display it like this. You know, let me know. If you're curious what it looks like with the light on, there you go. So we've got a little bit more overhead light going on. So you can see I've got the severed hand on there, and it's got a little force thing going on here, and we'll pull back so you give you a shot of the pose. But it's, you know, it does, you can tell it is on, even in full light on a display. You can tell it's on. No question about that. Again, is it something you're going to use? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. If you plan on using this in your collection, let me know in the comment section down below. But I imagine most everybody's probably not going to unless you got multiples. And then if you got multiples of this Vader, like, more power to you. I think it's pretty cool. But for me, probably going to use the head sculpt version because honestly, it's probably the best one in my opinion. At the end of the day, I'll probably end up using this display stand versus the other display stand, which we saw earlier, which is the platform, I guess, if you will. This one has USB-C function. Light up function is pretty nice. Don't think I need that one, but it's definitely going to take up less space in the display. And at this point, that's kind of an important thing, at least for me. Maybe not for you guys, but for me, it's kind of a big deal. I will probably, I have an idea for a pose at the end. It's a pose I did years and years and years ago with Luke, Carrie, and Vader. And most likely, that is the pose I'm going to end up with in my display. Having the multiple versions of Vader and multiple versions of Luke. Probably going to go with that, like carrying them down the hallway pose, which I'm sure we'll do here in just a little bit. Now, one of the things I don't like about the display base like this with the USB-C function is the power comes off like not at the back. It's like off to the side. You can see the cable there. And I don't know. For whatever reason, I would like it just to be at the back. So as far as hiding the cable, it would be easier to do. Maybe I'm nitpicking on that, but you know, I don't know. That's just one of those things. But I do dig it. I think it's a good pose. But let's move on to another one. Hopefully we've decided which Vader is the absolute best Vader. And I've got to say, so far, out of all the ones I've ever owned or reviewed, which is all of them, this is the best one. There's no question about it. The ease of changing out the hands makes this figure so much more enjoyable to pose. The two diorama bases are nice, although I'm probably just going to use the circular one with the USB-C function. With the light up deal, I think that's great. And this is how mine's going to end up being posed, at least for a pretty good while. I will probably get a custom cape for it, just like I did the Kenobi Vader or the Empire Vader. But this is most likely how I'm going to have mine posed. Kind of a little homage to the original Mythos Vader. And I just think it works. I might change the left hand a little bit. I might do that. But I think this works. I'm very happy with it. So if you want to get one of these, you want to get something else from Pop Collectibles, you can do that. That's where I got mine. I'm super happy with it. And I think, honestly, it's the best Vader. But now's the time to hear from you in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, let me know your favorite Vader. And as always, collect what you like. See you next time.